Welcome back, traders and investors, to Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep, brought to you by MarketFi. I'm your co-host, Joel Elconin, along with Brianna Valesky, and we have Rachel Shasha on the line. She's a trader and blogger at Sassy Options. Rachel, how you doing this morning?
I'm great. Thank you for asking, and thank you for having me on.
Yeah, always enjoy having you on. You always have good input. So last time you were on, you were talking about a high-price stock that moves around quite a bit, ICPT, and I was just wondering if how your call worked out for you.
So, yeah, I had said that I was buying January 2016 options on it, call options, and I did. It worked out beautifully. It was up about 100 points since then. So I took off about a quarter of it for a 600% profit.
Wow.
Still holding three-quarters, and I still think it's a buy. So it's consolidating right now. And I think after, a little bit of healthy consolidation, let it take its time. It's building a nice cup and handle, if you want to say. And I think it's going to go much higher into the end of the year.
Why did you go so far out? You just wanted to give yourself a lot of time? I mean, you must have been trade by appointment only there going into January 2016 options.
Yeah, well, because, these biotechs, especially ones that have these, announcements all the time and, FDA news and whatnot, or competition from other drugs, they're so volatile, like intraday. And so even as a trader, it's very hard to play weekly or bi-weekly, monthly, even options on it. I feel like it's just it makes me way too nervous, or makes me just too nervous. So I just figured I really like the stock. It looked like it had bottomed on the chart, and I like the story behind it. So I figured, what, I'll just go out way far and just hold. And so far, it's worked out beautifully.
Do you do a spread, or you just go outright with the calls?
I just went straight out right with calls. Now that I'm, so much profitable in the money with them, I might start selling outside calls against them, but I haven't done that yet. For now, I'm just, sometimes just let it go. It's been such a great trade. I don't need to ruin it or try to play games with it.
Yeah, I've been in a few trades like that. And what's your thesis on it? You just, they're working on a hepatitis drug. Is that correct?
They're doing something for the liver.
Right.
And this is something that is for people who have liver disease who maybe have been alcoholics or whatnot, and it's the only one that exists that has potential. There was another company that had maybe had competition, but they actually came out with results and they didn't meet endpoints. So right now they're the only company that exists in a huge market for it. So.
Okay.
That's my thoughts on it.
Nice call on that. What do you think? Just go to the general market here. Boy, we have been in a trading range here. Have not been able to break out in the S&Ps. I mean, you can look at it a couple different ways. You think we're just having just a little consolidation here to move higher, or see what happens during earnings season?
I do think, I think this is a very frustrating time if you're a trader, because breakouts aren't working and breakdowns aren't working. So it's we got to just either buy the dip or sell the rip. But I do think as of now that it's possible it's just a long consolidation period. I'm not looking for a crash. If we do go lower, I think it's viable. So I do think it's probably a long consolidation period. And I think that possibly, yes, this earnings season could be a catalyst to finally break it. And to go, because earnings have been, ratcheted down so far, or expectations have, that I feel like any up surprises are going to bring in more money, that has been worried or on the sidelines or maybe even in bonds.
Okay, let's go to some of the morning movers here, starting with Tesla. It's just been all over the news with Elon Musk tweets and then some good fundamental news coming out on the stock yesterday. Trading up 563 on the pre-market, talking about a new Model S. Is Tesla something you get involved in?
I am not, and I'll tell you, I do not know how people short this stock. It's impossible, I feel like, to short this stock. I feel bad for anyone who does. Right now, if there's momentum is behind it, whether or not their fundamental story is good or it's going to be profitable, I have no idea. But the momentum is behind it, and every time it tries to break down, it somehow recovers. Maybe because Elon Musk and his tweets or whatnot. But I would not be shorting this stock. Right now, I mean, it looks good to the long side, but either way, I'm not going to get long or shorted. I just don't have a stomach for that one.
It's something that if you don't understand, you don't trade it. Do you mess
Yeah,
with nothing wrong with that. Do you trade low
I
price?
think if it stays above 200 though, I do think it's fine. There is a downtrend line that it's above right now, and that's where it is. So if it stays above that, I think it's going to be fine.
Do you
To the
trade?
upside,
Do you,
and
do you,
least to the 200-day moving average.
do you trade low price stocks at all, like Rite Aid or something like that? Is that something that you trade at
No,
all?
I do have one position actually in that's low price in Groupon. I like the story behind Groupon too, and think I have like a longer term position, like July calls, and I think that the earnings season could be potential catalyst for it to finally go higher. You know, there's always rumors about maybe being taken over. I mean, I do think eventually it'll be bought, but that's not why I'm holding it necessarily. So I don't actually trade Rite Aid, even though I heard that it's update in pre-market from earnings.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, and the chart looks great. I wouldn't buy it here. I would wait for a pullback, but the chart on Rite Aid looks fantastic.
Okay. Another pharmaceutical stocks that you file the ICPT. It looks like Innovia Pharmaceuticals here. Any take on that one? It traded all the way up to 1020 in pre-market trading. Now we backed off to 960. Any take on INO?
INO?
Yeah,
I actually never traded that one.
What do you think of when a stock like pops that high in the pre-market, get all the way to 1020? And I'm looking at a former high of the move here. That was at 1024. Then you get a precipitous pullback like that. Is that kind of a signal just perhaps to stay away, people taking profits in it?
You know, yeah, something like a biotech again. They're so volatile, and possibly because they're less liquid. But I would say if it can stay above the 200-day moving average, which it's in pre-market it is around 10. The 200 is around 957. If it can stay above that, then actually a pullback to that would be a great entry point.
Yeah, looking at that, it's trading right there at 955. Apple kind of been quiet as of late. Trading range, got a price target reduction today, I think, from SocGen. Is it just not enough movement to get any interest in Apple here, or are you trying to play it from one side or another?
I definitely think it's a long. I don't necessarily know today it's a long, but I would say right now trading range, for this week, would be 125 to 128. I think it could possibly get a pop today. It was downgraded this morning, but these things move like $2 all the time. I definitely would like to be long this during earnings. I think the chart is setting up so beautifully to go higher.
Okay, and I know you like to look at the open interest in options, and we have Nick Shaheen on Tuesdays, and he talks a lot about the pinning and the open interest in that. Is that something? I mean, I know way you've been talking, you've been going a little bit longer term out. Do you ever try and use that open interest from the weeklies, to come up with some trade setups?
Well, definitely. Actually, I didn't actually trade anything with it, but yesterday. I mentioned to my subscribers that Apple, was getting below the high open interest calls that it had around 127, 128, and that it was unlikely to probably go above that again into the end of the week, or if it does, we'll probably fall back. Because once there's too many calls built up and it starts to get around to Wednesday, Thursday, it starts to get a little harder. So that's something like easily someone could, buy a call spread or sell a call spread on. So I do look at it for almost all the momentum stocks, and sometimes I play them, sometimes to be honest, it just keeps me out of them.
Okay, that's good.
Like, here's an example for Twitter, because I know everyone is in love with Twitter now, which, by the way, I have a position in it and love it too. If it can stay above 52 this week, or, as long as it stays above 52 throughout the week, I think it has a chance to get to 54, 55 this week. If it falls below 52, then I think it's going to continue to stall. But for now, it looks good, way above 52.
Wow, and definitely the news of a potential takeover definitely helping that. Coming out of the chat here, wants to know if Rob Hood wants to know if you have an opinion on MA MasterCard. Any opinion on that? Or maybe no, MA.
Um,
It's not MA. Mastercard's not MA.
Mastercard, yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, it is.
Mastercard's
Yeah,
MA.
it is. Wow, look at this consolidation period here. Is this you looking for a little breakout here, pull back from the highs, consolidation? What's your take on Mastercard?
I hadn't seen it, but it actually does look very good right here. It does look like a very long consolidation. It, recently pulled back, but is now right above, the 50-day. I think as long as it doesn't go below maybe, let's see, what is this level? Around 80, if you're short term, but around 86.30, I think it's in the buy, yeah. I don't know, but, credit cards have been doing not so well, like if you look at AXP or Discovery. But Visa and MasterCard seem to be, contrarian there, and they seem to be working. So, yeah, I kind of like MA here.
And an energy stock here that's held up pretty well. LNG, Cheniere Energy, looks like it found someone that wants out here at $80. I think I see a couple pops above 80, hit 80.09 in yesterday's session here. I mean, I guess you can't really short it, but I guess I want to get real excited on the long side until we broke out and had a couple closes above 80.
Yeah, I agree. And you can see the Bollinger Bands are starting to close in. So perhaps let it consolidate a little bit more, and then see which direction I want to go those in. I'm not necessarily sure it's going to go up or down. I think that oil. I mean, it looks like it's bottom, but I'm still skeptical until I see more evidence. It could just be a really big dead count bounce because it was way oversold. So I would look for more evidence before I call the bottom. I mean, I think playing cost is great. Like in it, I'm actually in Exxon from Monday morning. So I think playing really short term is fine, but I wouldn't be necessarily playing long term until I got a little bit more evidence that this is not just a dead cat bounce. Wow. And we could just consolidate longer at oil right down here for another 3 months before anything happens.
You said you were in Exxon from Monday, and Monday, of course, we had that wild day in the market. Moved up off the unemployment number. 84.20 was low. Boy, 86 looks like the level, and that hit 86.17 yesterday, 86 a few sessions ago. That looks like the number here in Exxon Mobil. Get above 86 and might have a little rally up to the 87, 88 area.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for, actually. I'm looking for something around 87. Well, more 88, maybe 88.50 even.
Going back,
get out there.
Going back to another lower price stock here, the unquote unofficial start to earnings season, Alcoa here, coming off a bottom, been kind of rallying here into the number. Kind of talked about with Dennis, and maybe he has some shorts wanting to lighten up ahead of it. Any take on Alcoa?
I mean, it does have a very nice rounding bottom, so I think this probably is a make or break moment for it. If it can, report something that people like, I think it could get all the way back up to, the 200-day moving average and then see what happens. But if not, then I think that, I'd want to be out of it.
Okay.
I mean, it does look like it's trying to bottom, so this would be, I guess, a good time to decide if it's going to be a long or a short.
Yeah, we'll find out with the number today. Cybersecurity stock, FireEye, trading up 78 cents in the pre-market. I guess it got a little love from Tim Seymour on Fast Money. Big pop after earnings. Pull back, consolidation phase here. Trading up in the pre-market here. Would you chase this one at this level, or would you like to come back in maybe to the $40?
Where is it right now, pre-market?
FireEye is trading up 87 cents at 40.78. Got some positive comments from Tim Seymour on Fast Money.
So 40.78. I would say if you can hold the 50-day at 40.35, then maybe even look for a pullback to right there. But it could be a chaseable stock because you know what? It's in the fall. If you look at the chart, it's falling wedge, and I feel like it's starting to try to creep above that. Plus, this is another one like Tesla. These security stocks that I would be hesitant to short because, one hack and then that's it. Your short's like gone. It just flies.
I think Rachel's giving away all her secrets here. She's talking about the 50-day and the 200-day, and then she's throwing in some Bollinger Bands in there. So I think you're giving us a pretty good insight into your strategies. We definitely appreciate it. Well, A segment with Rachel Shasha would not be complete unless I asked you about your Goldman about your Goldman Sachs indicator. Has that been kind of quiet here? Are people loading up on puts in Goldman, so that means we're going higher, or what's going on in Goldman Sachs?
Right now, for this week, it's literally in a range of like there's a ton of high puts and a ton of high calls at 190 at the puts and then 195. So that is most likely the range it's going to stay in this week. If it can get above 195, I would think it would happen on Friday. But I actually really like Goldman Sachs right now. The chart looks amazing. If you look at it, it looks like an inverse head and shoulders. I think it's been setting up, and I might actually go long into earnings into the stock. So I do like it, and I think that it's possible if the week shapes up, it could rally into the end of the week, like maybe Friday. I wouldn't say it's going to really go too much above 195 before that because of all those high calls. But watch that level. Watch 195, and then also if it does fall, I would watch 190. I think that should hold it.
Okay, and so when you go into when you play something ahead of earnings, you just go into the weeklies, just get that bang for the buck immediately, or do you even try and give yourself a little bit more time in case there's a head fake?
Depends on which stock. For Goldman Sachs, I probably will give myself a little bit more time. Not going out to like July or anything like that. Maybe just a couple weeks.
Okay. All right. We've been on the line with Rachel Shasha. She's a trader and blogger at Sassy Options, sharing her input into the markets. Really appreciate it, Rachel. We haven't had you on in a while, and great input as always.
Thank you very much for having me.